Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and thank you for all the love and support on my first ever video here on YouTube. Today I'm doing my basic foundation routine here, teaching you how to get this nice glowy skin, how to set, prime, contour, blush, bronzer, highlight, the whole work. So stay tuned and don't forget to like and subscribe. I've already washed and moisturized my face. I like to usually go in with the First Aid Beauty Ultra Repair Cannabis Sativa Oil. And then I always go in with the Kiel's Deep Moisturizing Balm. So my skin's pretty dry, so I like to usually go in with like a mist before I start putting a foundation on my skin here. So I'm going in with the Glisten Up 4th Ray Beauty Spray. I'm gonna just spray this all over my face just to get a nice glow. Let that sink in the skin for a bit there. All right, now once that's soaked in there, I always like to take a primer of your choice. I just go in with something nice and hydrating for my skin. So I'm going in with the Becca First Light Priming Filter. This has kind of been my staple for a long time here. I have lots of primers, but I keep going back to this one. Take a couple pumps and just apply that all over the skin. Now coverage is all up to you. I'm just going for like a medium coverage. That's what I usually lean forward to. Sometimes I do like a full coverage if I'm doing a full out glam, but you know, just on the regular, I like to go with like a medium coverage, enough to cover up any blemishes, any redness. So my go-to these days are the Physicians Formula, the Healthy Foundation, and I actually have 2 bottles of this because you know, we're in the winter here. My skin's kind of in between tones. So I'm going in with LC1 and MC1. And this is a foundation that you need to build up with. So I usually put a couple streaks on my face here. Putting that darker one on first there, so it might look a little crazy. And then I'm going in with the lighter one here. Okay, and then this part is very crucial. So always take a damp beauty blender, wet it under the water, squeeze out any excess water. And then I like to go in there and take a little bit of foundation just on the back of my hand here. Dab into that. And then we're gonna start buffing out this foundation. Now this foundation is pretty foolproof. I feel like no matter what type of skin I'm having, dry, patchy, flaky skin, or if I'm having more of an oily day, this foundation really works for my skin. So, and I like to go down the neck there. And make sure you get that foundation into your hairline there so there's no other pieces missing. After you get the foundation on, I always put my concealer on next. So I'm going in with the Jeffree Star C5 shade concealer. And we're just going to highlight all the high points of the face and under the eyes. We're gonna let that sit in for a second there. I'm also gonna add the Hoolah bronzing stick by Bennifit, and we're just gonna take a cream contour here. And you're gonna look super crazy. And then we're just gonna go in with the same sponge, nice and damp. We're just gonna go in and blend all that out. flipping around the sponge to the bottom edge here, and we're gonna take this and we're just gonna blend in that bronzer. We're gonna set the eyes. I like to use a translucent powder, so I'm taking the Dermablend loose setting powder. I'm taking my sponge directly in the cap here. I'm gonna take some right on here, just like that. And then the other edge, we're gonna just smooth out any creases that are under the eyes. And then taking the powder directly under there, go ahead and look up. And just set that right into place. So usually I let all the powders and the creams kind of melt together here, and I go in and usually do brows, eyes. So I'm just gonna do brows first, and then we'll be right back. So after foundation has sat for a while there, I like to take a little more loose setting powder, go in with like a nice fluffy brush. I'm using the Moda brushes. There's no exact name on what brush this is here, but it came in a package. And I just like to dust this around the whole face here, the whole perimeter. I usually leave my nose and chin here. My chin gets super dry, so I usually leave that alone. I'll set it a little bit towards the end. And if you're oily, I would definitely set in your T-zone here. So set right here, you know, just be under the eyes and into the nose there. I always powder my face even though I am dry, just so the bronzer, the blush, the highlight doesn't pick up any of the foundation. You want to make sure your foundation is completely set, because if you just go in right away with bronzer, blush, highlight, it'll start to pick up and you'll have little spots of foundation that are kind of removed. So dipping it right into here, tapping out the extra, and then just going right where we bronzed, contoured. And then if I do feel like I need a little more setting in this area, if you have a long night ahead of you, or you just want a longer wearing of the foundation, any parts that you're dry, I usually take like a beauty blender and just set that in place. It just helps give some moisture back into the face, in my opinion. So I'll set right in the chin, just sort of blend that out there. Okay, and then once you feel confident with how it feels, it should feel pretty powdery. You shouldn't feel any tackiness. Any place that you do feel any, you know, parts that are tacky, just go ahead and take the brush, same powder, just to give us a nice even canvas here. So I'm going in right in with bronzer here. We're just gonna follow where we contoured, and we're just gonna bronze up the face a little bit more, just since we are so powdered up with our translucent powder. And I'm going in with the Alamar Cosmetics brush here, the bronzer brush. Dipping that right into the pan, tapping off the extra, following that line. But you don't have to be just as precise this time. Now you can sort of buff out the product just to get you nice and bronzy around the hairline, on the cheeks there. Same thing, going back in right with the sponge, and we're just gonna buff everything together. You can go ahead and we're gonna go in with the blush here. I'm going in with the Alamar Cosmetics palette. And I like to use all these shades here. These two more or less in summer. So I'm taking the middle pink shade here, and we're just gonna put that right on the cheeks. Taking it in your pan, tapping off the extra, and we're just gonna make a smile, and we're just gonna go ahead and follow the cheeks. I like to tap in the color first and then buff it out. Now that we're all powdered up here, we got the bronzer, the powder, the foundation, the blush. I just take everything and I go ahead and set it into place here. This will melt all the powders together into the foundation. I like to do like a good layer of that, let it sit, and then I go in with highlight. So I'm just gonna take a generous amount. So I'm gonna finish up my eyes and then we'll finish up with the highlight here. Okay guys, and we're almost done here. So we're taking the Morphe M438 brush. This is my tried and true highlighting brush. We're going in with the Anastasia Beverly Hills Amareezy highlighter. This is like one of my favorite highlighters. I actually have a backup because I'm pretty sure it's a limited edition. I'm not 100% on that one. But I like to take my brush, really get the brush saturated with that highlight. Then cap off the extra, go on the high points of the face and just brush that along. And that will start adding some extra glow into your face if you're worried about being pretty dry. And then I always take it just above the brow bone, almost like a C shape here. If you can see, you're just kind of following along against the brow there. You know, usually just taking on the high points, but I always drag it in right under here. Just kind of melts in with the blush there. And you can see sort of the difference just without and then with. And then what I like to do, this is just preference, I like to take it right on the tip of my nose, just gives it some slight glow there too. If you're oily, you don't have to necessarily do something like that. And then I always like to just take a little bit under here onto the Cupid's bow. So that'll just make your lips look a little bit larger on the top there. And then once you're happy with that, I like to just go back in, since we did one more powder, and just set everything into place. I'm going in with the same spray that we started out the video with, the 4th Ray Glisten Up Mist, and this honestly just sets your face, gives you a nice glow, just kind of adds nice moisture back into the skin, just makes it look a lot more like your own natural skin, even though you got a pound of makeup on. And here's the final result. You can just see how glowy the skin is, how fresh, how hydrated the skin looks. I know it's a lot that goes into it, but I think just, you know, make sure to properly set your makeup with setting spray. It just kind of transformed the whole look, just to look a lot more like skin. And just giving you that nice contoured, bronzy, blush, highlight kind of look, all kind of baked on there. So thank you for watching my video, and stay tuned till next time.